interrupt your program. This is a special report coming to you from the Skills and Technology newsroom high atop the towering metropolis of New York City. The following information has... Oh my God, I can't really do this for real. Anyway, here you go, Lou. Take it away.
So here's today's thing. I was thinking about the Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, that show that I love, and I know you like it too.
Yep.
And I was flipping through the New York Post, and there was this article, and it was focused on Carol Kaye. And if you don't know who Carol Kaye was, let me set this up. I'll just take a second. Back in the day, they had studio bands, right, which supported all the major acts. In Detroit, it was the Funk Brothers. You know about the Funk Brothers, right, Joe?
I do.
On the West Coast, you had something called the Wrecking Crew, who was out there playing from the 50s to the 70s. And Carol Kaye was the bassist, and she was unbelievably great. As a matter of fact, I'm only going to give you two because there's tons of them. But she was the bass on Good Vibrations, Beach Boys, and the Batman show, da-na-na-na-na, that thing. So this woman has got so much crazy stuff. The article, Joe, was her griping for very good reasons about being the composite character of this bass player in the Mrs. Maisel show. So what I wanted to talk to you about as a storyteller and author is, what are your feelings, thoughts, knowledge, or considerations when you're coming up with a composite character? Is there any tricks?
No. And unfortunately, as individuals, we're not copyrighted. So unless you're a star, which then you are copyrighted, your image and your likeness can't be used. Session musician, that's hit or miss. The guy who sells newspapers on the corner, do they still do that? Yeah, so you get the guy who sells newspapers on the corner. We're all from New York, so we kind of relate to things that way. Yeah, that character is not copywritten. The butcher's not copywritten. The guy in the subway is not copywritten. So
that's crazy.
You draw your characters, and I don't know any writer in any media who has not or will not be able to point to a character that he knows or seen or watched or researched and has not built that into a composite character. And sometimes the composite is literally two people. Sometimes the composite is multiple people.
Right.
But yeah, that I understand. I mean, she even has a visual likeness. I mean, that wasn't even just this is her style.
Yeah.
She could literally look like her.
Well, I'm gonna because you don't have the article, but the thing that I found interesting was that they made it so overt that it was her. I mean, the character, her real name is Carol Kaye, and it's Carol Keen, Keen, in the show. And again, like you said, they had her looking exactly like she looks. She had those cat glasses from that era, which were awesome. Mm-hmm. And in the article, she said that nobody contacted her. She didn't even know what was happening. It just showed up on the show one day. And her friends called her and said, "Wow, that's great. You must be honored. It's like a real big homage to you." And here's her quote. And I want to know what you think about it. She said, "You have to understand, it's not easy when you're an older person like myself, and it has nothing to do with you," speaking about the character, "but people think it's you." And I found that interesting.
That's true. And let's talk that specific show. They brilliantly build a reality around a fantasy. So in setting the period and all of what goes around, the characters, the actors, they're all almost somebody. So you can, if you've lived through those eras or you know a lot about it, you can almost point to who they are.
Right.
And, there's is that Johnny Mathis? I don't know. Maybe. Could be. Is he gay? Yeah. I don't know. Is that? Oh, I don't, So there's those statements that are being said and made.
Right.
So yeah, I get it. But she's a session player. She's she's on the road. She's a bass player. Had to come from somewhere, and somebody had to know her. Because you couldn't just pull that out of thin air. Somebody had to do their research and look for that character. And I guarantee you there were several characters presented. I can't guarantee anything. I'm not anywhere near that show. But
right.
That's typical of it. Here, I have this character. I want it to look like that, da-da-da-da-da. And then casting comes in and says, well, we have this person that looks more like this. And, it's not a one-man decision that things get done that way.
And Joe, she's got no recourse, suing for rights or royalties or likeness images. Or...
What? Of what? She's not copywritten. That would be like if I decided to do a show that was about Lou spelt differently, and I kind of sort of used your background and your style.
Right.
You'd have no recourse.
Oh, well, I'd be honored. That's all.
Well, you know what? In some respect, I get her point. I truly do. Yeah. I don't know how I would feel if suddenly come on, of course that's me. What are you doing? And I wouldn't say that, or I wouldn't do that, or I don't act like that.
Right.
I don't know how I'd feel, but I wouldn't have any legal recourse. I mean, you could sue anybody for anything.
Yep.
But you'd kind of be chasing the wind because you're also up against networks at that level, and Big Brother's not going to let you get away with it.
Do you think that, just to finally wrap it up, do you think there's like a courtesy type thing? Because she said nobody contacted her, nobody did it. Do you think as an artist, from one artist to another, you would have made that call, like just to reach out?
It depends.
Hey, Carol, listen, we're putting you in this thing. It's a composite character. Thanks for the courtesy.
And what happens if she says no?
Yeah, right. Then you're liable.
I told them not to use it. They asked me and I said no.
Yeah. Got it. Complex, man.
Yeah, because as soon as you say no, as soon as you ask that question, you've identified that that's who it is. And that's what we're doing.
Contract. Yep.
So, I would say artistic. Nope. What's the phrase I'm looking for? Creative.
Artist to artist.
Artist to artist. Creative to creative.
Yep.
I would think you'd want to do that, but knowing the business of the creative, you can't. Yep. You just can't. You know what, Lou? I'll give you a real quick, and then we're going to get out. Is music.
Go ahead.
Wait, those are my licks. That's like my song. Well, music now has evolved to the point that there's a 3-second likeness. You can't sample because what happened before, you could rip off a sheet music, you could rip off a lick, you could rip off something, but there was no pure way to define it. When sampling, when it became a digital thing, it was definitely you just took the recording. And that became a big issue. But everybody is influenced by everything around them in the creative environment. Every picture, every sound, every song, every movie has some influence from things around it. And I'm done.
And that's it. Tell them about next week, sending in some information.
Oh, okay. So everybody, if you have any insights at all as to something we've said that you think is incorrect or you want to discuss a little more with us, please send it along. If you have some ideas that you want us to go either research for you or look into or discuss, we'd love it. We'd love to bring in, we're all about our community and all about our network, and you are definitely that community and that network. So we want to involve you as much as possible in every aspect of what Faro City is all about.
Thanks for being there.
All right, Lou. Peace.
See ya.
Thanks for listening to today's show. We've got some really exciting online courses coming up on ferocity.com. See for yourself the exclusive details at ferocity.com and make sure you get on board for early notification of class openings, enrollment opportunities, and founding member benefits. Details at ferocity.com.